Welcome to Chasing Gold, the 2025 Black Canyon edition. I'm your host, Schuyler Hall, bringing you interviews with many of the folks you will be following here on the Mountain Outpost channel during that live stream of the race. One of the folks that you will be following is no stranger to this race and no stranger to the media landscape. EmKay Sullivan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a little cold here in Reno, but the sun is still shining, so I can't complain.
Yeah, it's hard to complain anytime in Reno, so we
So
wouldn't even
true.
hear it if you did. So obviously, as I mentioned, you're no stranger to this race, and we'll sort of dive into how last went for you and some of the other things that are coming down the pipeline. But the first question I want to ask is sort of our boilerplate question. Right now, it's sort of that contract season. Announcements are coming out. So imagine you find yourself in an elevator with the head of your dream brand. What is your 30-second elevator pitch on why they should bet on you for 2025 and beyond?
Well, this is a hard question, but I guess my 30-second pitch would just be I want to be the best. Anytime I stand on a start line, I want to win. It doesn't always happen, but I've got crazy confidence in myself, and it's what I simultaneously love and hate most about myself. But I'm on the line to win, and that's always the goal.
Listen, that's what it takes to be good at anything, but especially in this sport. So we're not going to knock you for having that bravado and that confidence. But the first thing I have to ask you about is last year's Black Canyon, the 2020 edition. You did have a DNF here, which I guess some folks might be rattled by from a confidence standpoint. But hey, you're back here towing the line. Can you just walk us through a little bit what happened at Black Canyon and why you signed up to come back out?
Yeah, for sure. Last year obviously did not go the way that I had hoped or planned for. The weather was a little wacky and it snowed the day before and rained the entire week before that too, which made the course pretty mucky. And I just unfortunately stepped in a sloppy hole at mile 3, rolled my ankle super bad. Told myself, maybe it would get better, keep racing until mile 20 because that's where the first crude aid station was, and then I would kind of see how it went to there. But I spent the next 17 miles kind of limping around, running on my toes, trying not to like roll my ankle again. And that obviously caused other things to hurt. And I knew that trying to finish 62 miles, especially knowing that the second half of the course is kind of the more technical part of the race, was a poor decision. So decided to drop out at mile 20 and hope to just, regroup and race somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're no stranger to technical courses. I mean, you were on a world's team back in 2023. So you know how to get into some gnarly stuff. Obviously, it was a short lived sort of setback, and you came back at Canyons just a few months later and finished second there. What was your mindset going into Canyons, and sort of what did you take away from that 100K that you're hoping to bring forward to Black Canyon and find success this time around?
I guess my mindset going into Canyons was just that I wanted to finish 100K. Black Canyon was supposed to be my debut, and it didn't happen that way. But I really wanted to see what I could do at the distance. And so I went into the race just hoping to hang with Katie Scheid for as long as I could, which honestly probably helped me get second place because I was able to put a solid gap on the rest of the field just by sticking with her for the first 8 miles. And what I learned from it was that I'm pretty good at 100K, maybe more kind of like Black Canyon, Canyon type racing where it's pretty runnable. I like to run, so it makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to have another chance at Black Canyon because I know it's a race that I could be really good at. I'm fast on flat, I can run pretty far. I know that now. And so yeah, I think it's a course that suits me very well.
So there, this might be one of the most competitive 100K fields we've seen on U.S. soil in quite some time, if not ever. Is it a calling of the competition that you think will bring out the best in you, or do you think the course is just so set up that's going to be what makes you run fast? Like what's the balance between tactics versus just outright competition as you focus on your race plan for 2025?
I think it's a little bit of both. As a professional athlete, I'm always like going back and forth between like, do I run this race because I know I can make some money, or do I run this race because of the competition? And Black Canyon is one of those instances where I'm like, I run this race because I want to compete against the best in the world. I don't want something easy. And so I think that the way that things are going right now, you kind of have to be ready to run a course record to win these races. And I think that this field at Black Canyon will produce a course record this year. And I just hope that I'm, the woman that does it, but it could be any of us. So,
So let's do a little fill in the blank. All right.
okay.
If I do blank, then I'm going to podium or win at Black Canyon. What is the one thing you need to execute in that blank to get this golden ticket or win?
I just need to run my own race, which is hard to do in a field that competitive.
So I have to ask the question, given how Canyons went last year, coming into this, is just battling the name of the game and what you're most excited about, or are we actually entertaining the notion of accepting the golden ticket should one come your way?
I am entertaining the notion of accepting a golden ticket this year. Once I had the ticket in my hands last year at Canyons, it was really hard to say no, but I also knew that 6 weeks was not enough time for me, maybe ever, but especially after my first 100K. But I'd say like I'm probably at like 90 to 95% this year. I'm still a little scared at the idea of running 100 miles, but just like having good races obviously brings about confidence that I can do it. So,
Absolutely. I was going through sort of your ultra sign up and what you're signed up for after Black Canyon, and I saw that Broken Arrow was still on there. Jim Walmsley famously did the ascent the week before Western, so I saw that you were signed up for the ascent. Maybe there's some pre-race jitters you can get out there before your first 100 miler. No pressure. So do what feels good.
yeah. I love
Um,
I love a VK. It's like simultaneously the worst and best decision. So, might as well.
so that's kind of what's interesting about you in this field. As you mentioned, like last year, first attempts at the 100K distance, but you probably are more comfortable redlining than the average person who steps on the line for 100K or a 100 miler. How do you think that sort of sub ultra, just like being able to throttle it from the gun, like changes your mindset or maybe gives you an edge as you toe the line at Black Canyon in a few days' time?
I think racing sub ultra has like ultimately taught me how to race trails in general. I think that, in 100K, a lot of the times it's hard to get into that mindset of like, oh, I'm racing the whole time. But I have the privilege of having run a lot of shorter races where you are racing the whole time. And so I just try to like get into that mindset of staying awake and aware of what's going on around me. Even if, like at Canyons, I was by myself most of the day, but I was terrified that there could be somebody, right around the corner. But you also have to use that to your advantage, right? Just stay out of sight, out of mind, which is harder to do at a race like Black Canyon, but just staying in the race and staying present, I think is the most important part of that. Being able to redline, maybe in certain instances, like in that last 10 miles, if somebody's on your butt, like, then you turn the jets on. But I think most of the time it's just staying present and being aware of what's going on around you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anything on this course is going to be novelty or something you haven't seen before. It's just taking the obstacles as they come, literally or figuratively. So coming from sort of your hat as I'll say a media personality, obviously a fan of the sport, and you're commentating on it on a regular basis. We have a live stream for Black Canyon. You've been a part of races that have live streams. Have you noticed a change in how either the field is preparing or engaging on race day because of these live streams, how crew interactions are going because folks are following along? Like, have you noticed any sort of shift that this new media lens is bringing to the race day experience for the athlete.
I don't know that it brings too much, to be honest, and maybe that's just me, like, not paying enough attention, but, I think that it can be fun, like, sometimes, like, at canyons, for example, in the last 15 miles, I was in this, like, really weird headspace where I was just like, "I'm not gonna make it to the end, I'm so tired," and I was hiking up this hill, and I remember having the thought, like, "Oh my gosh, my coach is probably watching this right now," because it was the first time I'd had somebody with me, a cameraman, and I was like, "He's
Mhm.
probably thinking, 'Why is she walking?'" But, like, it turned out later, he was like, "That was the best decision you made," but the whole time I was hiking up this huge hill, I was like, "Oh, Rick probably thinks I'm, like, really not doing everything I can here," but, I think most of the time I don't notice that they're there, or if I do, it's just, like, trying again to stay present and be, like, in my race in that moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm intrigued by uh, the notion that coaches are using the live stream as feedback. And you have a history as a coach, right? Like you've helped build skills and sort of build that mindset. Thinking about Black Canyon and sort of the parts of the trail that you didn't get the chance to see because of the early exit last year, have you used the live stream to sort of learn about parts of the course, or have you had the opportunity to just go out and recon it in person?
Last year I drove down, I think like 8 or 9 days early and saw not all of the course, but a lot of the course, and I made sure to check out, I think it was like mile 40 to 50 because I heard that was where it gets pretty, like, saucy, and so I've seen a lot of the course, I know what it looks like. I have not watched any live stream stuff. I mean, directly after the race last year, I was, like, pretty sad, and so I didn't even wanna, like, look at any of the social media stuff because obviously I wanted to be out there. So I have not really thought about the race much since then. My husband will tell you that that's like kind of a crazy thing about me is that people ask me like, "Oh, are you excited? Are you ready for the race?" And it's like, maybe once I get to the start line, I'll be excited, but until then, I'm just like, focused on the process, trying to get there. So
Walk me through that a little bit more. You say that it's when you get to the line that like you can sort of be excited for the race. What brings that about? Is it, you want to be so present in your own training and your own mindset that you don't want to get, caught up in what other people are doing? Is it sort of protection in some way? Like how did that come to be, and why do you think that that's sort of like how you best operate?
yeah, it's something, or I guess it's the way I've been since I was racing in college. I think it's more of a protection thing where that's just how I deal with my nerves. Like people ask me about the race, I'm like, not today, maybe on race day. um, but no, it's never like an issue of like worrying about what other people are doing or their training or anything because I'm constantly on Strava like the rest of us are. But yeah, I think it's mostly just my way of dealing with nerves is like, obviously, I'm thinking about the race in my own way, like, when I'm out on training runs and stuff, I'm imagining what could be, but, I don't really wanna talk about it much outside of, like, maybe a race plan with my coach.
I mean, listen, it's probably great for the marriage, right? Your husband will be like, okay, we can talk about things that aren't just racing. So that's for
Yes,
being married to a professional athlete, probably beneficial. So let's go
definitely.
ahead and send it to the quick mix here. These are just five fast questions for you here at the end. So just top of the dome, whatever the first comes to mind, let's go ahead and run with it. Are you
Yeah,
ready?
I'll
All
give
right.
it my best shot.
No, no pressure. So, question one. Obviously, craft athlete. What shoe do you think you'll be running in at this edition of Black Canyon?
I will be running in the Nordlight Ultra Pro,
Excellent.
which is a
Uh,
shoe that is not out.
that's okay. See, you do well in it, and the brand will thank you. Uh,
Exactly.
we need more hype in trail running. So, what
Okay.
is your walkout song for this 2025 Black
Ooh.
Canyon? What song would you love to have the speakers bumping as you walk to the start line?
Right now, probably Squabble Up by Kendrick Lamar.
Respect it. Respect it. See, Reno's basically California, so we'll let it ride. Um, Question 3. You have an unlimited budget to go on a month-long training camp. Where are you headed and why?
Oh shoot. I guess off the top of my head, probably just the Eastern Sierra. I mean, like down in Mammoth area, I absolutely love it there. I maybe that's boring, but I could definitely spend a month in Mammoth just running around.
And we've seen you run around a lot in Mammoth before, so we know you perform well there. Um, Question 4. We're turning Black Canyon into a 2-person relay. All right, so it's going to be you daisy chained with someone else running the entire distance. Which one of your competitors do you want to have yourself tied to?
So like a three-legged race almost?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go Katie Asmuth because she's close and I can practice with her.
Good. See, nobody ever thinks about the practice component, but I like where your head's at. That's smart. And then the last question for you. Obviously, the race is going to be live streamed here on the Mountain Outpost channel. So again, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. You'll get the notification when we go live. What emoji do you want your supporters just spamming into the live chat to show you love while you're out there on course?
Probably the emoji with the sunglasses. They're not heart
Nice.
sunglasses, but they're close enough.
Hey, no shame in your game. I love it. And as we mentioned, the live stream is going to be here on that Mountain Outpost channel. So make sure that you tune in on February 8th to see EmKay and a whole host of very fast people take on this Black Canyon course. And hey, you said we're on course record watch. So let's make sure we tune in and show love all throughout the day. EmKay Sullivan, thanks for joining us here on Chasing Gold.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right. This has been Schuyler Hall. Until next time, see you guys later.